The stone. According to the Bible, a large stone was rolled in front of the tomb where Jesus was laid to rest. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in a fresh linen cloth, and placed it in a newly carved tomb that he had cut out of the rock. He rolled a big stone in front of the entrance to the tomb and went away. Matthew 27 verses 59 to 60, Amplified Bible. And Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, burial wrapping, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had cut in the rock. And he rolled a large stone over the entrance of the tomb and went away. Joseph of Arimathea, a rich man and member of Sanhedrin, had not concurred in the council's decision to deliver Jesus to Pilate. Luke 23 verse 51. He had not consented to the council's plan and action. A man from Arimathea, a city of the Jews, who was waiting for and expecting the kingdom of God. If he had been a covert disciple up to this point, he now cast all caution to the wind and revealed himself. He approached Pilate with courage and asked for permission to bury his Lord. Pilate granted his request. We need to put ourselves in Pilate's shoes and try to comprehend the reaction of the Jewish people when they learned that a member of the Sanhedrin had taken a public stance in support of the people who was crucified. When Joseph laid Jesus to rest in the tomb, he may have been burying himself in more ways than one, including on the social and religious levels. Pilate permitted Joseph to embalm the body, and Joseph did so with great care by wrapping it in a fresh linen cloth and placing spices in between the wrappings. Then he placed it in his own new tomb, carved out of solid rock. The mouth of the tomb was closed by a large stone, shaped like a millstone and standing on its edge in a channel also carved out of stone, centuries before Isaiah had predicted. His grave was assigned with the wicked, but he was with a rich man in his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. Isaiah 53 verse 9, Amplified Bible. His adversaries undoubtedly devised a plot to dispose of his body by casting it into the valley of Hinnom, where it would be incinerated in garbage fires or devoured by foxes. But God overruled their intentions and used Joseph to ensure that Jesus was buried alongside the wealthy. This stone not only helped to close off the entrance to the tomb, but it also made it more difficult for anyone to walk in there and take the body. He came into a world from a virgin's womb. Now he was set in a virgin tomb. No body had ever been set in that tomb, so there was no possible confusion as to which body came forth. We read, "He rolled a large stone against the door of the tomb." This was the conventional method for securing a wealthy individual's tomb. A wealthy man like Joseph of Arimathea most likely had a tomb carved into the solid rock. John 19 verse 41, Amplified Bible. Now there was a garden at the place where he was crucified, and in the garden a new tomb cut out of solid rock in which no one had yet been laid. The tomb would typically have a narrow entrance and possibly one or more compartments where the body of those who had been partially mummified with spices, ointments, and linen strips could be laid out. After allowing the bodies to decompose on their own for a period of time that could range from a few years to several decades, Jewish tradition dictated that the skeletal remains be stored in a container made of stone and given the name ossuary. The ossuary remained in the tomb with the remains of other family members. The entrance to the tomb was typically a heavy circular-shaped stone that ran in a groove and settled down into a channel. Because of these features, the door could not be moved unless multiple strongmen worked together to do so. This was done to ensure that the remains of the person would not be disturbed in any way. The usual mode of shutting the door of the tomb, the Jews called the stone golal, the roller. Joseph probably did not like the fact that the value of his family tomb decreased because the Romans decided to crucify people nearby. However, this serves to remind us that the power of the cross and the resurrection are always permanently connected and closely connected in God's plan. Tombs like this were very costly. It was quite a sacrifice for Joseph of Arimathea to give his up. However, Jesus would only use it for a few days.